Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Hello, everyone. Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Lea Morrison. She is a trauma-informed coach and healer based in Vancouver. How are you doing today, Lea?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here and share with me today. How's your day going so far?
So far, so good. A little bit scattered with two kids in the morning, but they're at the door and I have a little bit of freedom now, so it's lovely.
And how was your weekend?
It was lovely, actually. We took the kids up to Whistler for the weekend and had some really nice downtime with them. So
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's jump right in here. So, Lea, you refer to yourself as a holistic healer and coach. Why is it you gave yourself that label, and how and why did you come up with that label for yourself?
It was actually quite an organic move into the coaching. The holistic healing aspect, I am an energetic healer. So I work with a few different modalities, Reiki, quantum touch. I did train briefly with under shamanic practitioner training a little bit. I'm not a shaman by any means. I would never, but I do love the principles of the medicine. And that has really allowed me to see inside the body and understand the body in an energetic way as well as a scientific way. So when we talk about holistic healing, it's about climbing into the natural state of your body without any of the external influences. And the coaching is really about teaching people how to move from one mindset into another. There's a bit of talk therapy involved in it, but getting down into the nitty-gritty of why you think the way you think and why you do the things you do, and asking the important questions to get you to self-reflect. And I feel like that in coaching in any aspect, whether it's sports or personal development, it's really about allowing your client to see for themselves what they're ready to see.
Okay, interesting. So, Lea, you yourself have been through a hell of an ordeal and ended up being diagnosed with something called conversion disorder after having been through multiple different diagnoses and been put on a bunch of different pills to combat what each doctor or therapist thought it might be. Can you explain to us what exactly conversion disorder is for those of us that don't know?
Yeah, it's a conversion of emotional energy into physical. So a headache would be a conversion symptom. I just felt it to the extreme. So conversion disorder is when you've gone through a significant amount of emotional trauma and you've never learned how to process that emotion, or you weren't taught how to, or you don't know how to move through it, and your body starts to react as a way to tell you that something's wrong. So whenever I would get triggered emotionally, I would drop down into a seizure. And so It was also called psychogenic non-epileptic seizures, PNES for short. And there's been quite a few cases now that have been known, and conversion disorder is becoming more wide known, where there was barely anything known about it when I was first diagnosed. So it's considered a mental illness, and a lot of doctors have the belief that you can't heal from it. You're traumatized, you have PTSD, that's all there is to it. You're going to suffer from this for the rest of your life. And there's very little information, at least at the time that I was diagnosed, that was given to me. So it was converting my emotional stress into physical symptoms. So anything that would happen, and that's exactly what a headache is, or any form of emotional chronic pain or physical chronic pain that you go through that doesn't have a root physical cause. I feel like a lot of our diseases that we've been diagnosed with are due to the emotional root cause and not the physical. It's a physical manifestation of that. So did I explain that properly?
Wow. That's holy.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, when you're not taught how to feel, when you're not taught, we're products of our environment. And as a child, if this sounds familiar to you, if you're angry, go to your room. If you're sad, I'll give you something to cry about. If you're happy, go outside. We go into school, we're taught how to be muted. We're not allowed to be expressive or essentially very creative. It's definitely different now, especially with seeing how my children are treated in school.
Yeah.
But back then, my parents didn't know. It was, you have any emotion, you swallow that and you turn the other cheek and you don't bring it up, and you don't want to cause any problems, and you be quiet. Children are meant to be seen, not heard. And because of that, the way that I personally took it in was I needed to swallow everything and shove it all down and mute myself and become a shell of who I actually was, which stripped away all of the goodness of emotion. And so when I went through something significantly traumatic, which was the birth of my oldest child, he was born 2.5 months early, was 2 pounds, very premature.
Wow.
And the fear of his death and believing that he was going to die every day of his first year of life, and the fact that he stopped breathing on me a couple of times, just brought up all of this old trauma that I hadn't ever been very emotionally aware of from my childhood. And so the culmination of all of that just almost reignited PTSD within my system, and then my body started to respond in kind. So if I wasn't going to emotionally listen, my body was going to be like, okay, I'm going to just stop you. Here you go. You can't actually label how you feel. Then how about we cause you some pain?
Yeah.
And that's what happened until I figured out how to feel, which was through some pretty intense therapy.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, you did a lot of soul searching, tons of reading about all different types of religions, I read. You consume these books and information like crazy. Why the search for or down the religious path?
I felt really lost, and I don't particularly like saying that anymore because I feel like we're never lost. There's nothing wrong with us. We're not broken people. Nobody's broken or lost. We're there the whole time. It's just we have parts of ourselves that go into hiding. And I felt very alone, and I didn't know who could help me. And so when I remember this time before I met my husband, I was in my early 20s, and I went down to Costa Rica and I was traveling, and my family's not overly religious. I didn't grow up. I went to churches with all of my friends growing up, always going to some church or another, curious, but never quite understanding. Attended a youth camp for a little while in my early teens just because I was curious. And I remember walking down the beach in Costa Rica by myself, and I heard this voice, and it was mine, but it wasn't mine. And things just started to make sense to me a little bit. And I started to connect in with myself and realize that I could talk to myself, which I'd never really done before. Never had I talked to myself. And so when I was going through the trauma of my son's birth and moving through all of these seizures, I was having 20 seizures a day, upwards of 20 seizures a day. I was desperate for somebody to help me. I was desperate to understand what was happening to my body. And I do have a lot of religious people in my life who were telling me that it was the devil inside of me trying to come out. And,
oh my gosh.
It was a lot of, backwards and fear-based thought. And so I was going, okay, well, if there's something wrong, then let's look for something right.
Yeah.
And I just was hungry for knowledge other than what I was being seen or what I was being shown and taught in my environment as of that day. So I started reading up on religious texts. I read the Quran, I read the Bible, I read the works of Taoism, I did, Buddhism, I looked into Judaism. There were so many different things that and nothing resonated, but everything resonated. Yeah. And the one thing that kept staying the same was that inner voice of mine that I discovered in my early 20s. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to talk to that. And I called that part of me Marlene for some reason. I was like, all right, Marlene, what's happening here? How can I get a grip of myself? But it gave me a sense of comfort to seek for help outside of myself, because inside of myself was a disaster. I was confused all of the time, and felt that there was something significantly wrong with me, and that was the farthest from the truth. I just needed to be shown a different way, and I was eager to figure that out. And since then, I've always been eager. I'm like hungry for knowledge, teaching something new every single day of my life, and I'm a very happy person.
Awesome. That's a great way to live. Can you please tell us a bit about your journey to this diagnosis and how it finally came about that this was the cause of what you were going through and dealing with?
Yeah, so I had suffered from anxiety and depression my entire life. I don't remember a time where I wasn't anxious or depressed from a very, very early age, young little girl. And When I became pregnant with my first son, went on bed rest at 20 weeks, and he was born, at 30 weeks. And so 2.5 months early. And I didn't sleep because I needed to be in that NICU every single day. And I was there for anywhere from 15 to 18 hours a day. The nurses would kick me out, and I'd be there knocking on the door at 6 a.m. in the morning, like, let me back in. I need to be with my baby.
Wow.
And it was, that was my need to control, because everything felt out of control. And so when he finally came home, I didn't sleep. I slept with my hand on his chest because I was so terrified of him dying. It was in my head that my baby was going to die. And so my anxiety became really high, got really, really high. And I was already a candidate for postpartum depression before. It was coming down full force. I ended up having to go in and it was an emergency C-section that he came out, and I ended up having to go in for 2 surgeries after 4 months postpartum. So 2 more surgeries of that type of trauma going through your body, which even a minor surgery or procedure is very traumatic for the nervous system.
Right.
Tap that on top of not sleeping for 4 solid months.
Jeez.
And I went in to see a practitioner of mine to kind of release some stress. My body was really sore, and I started having seizures. I was taken by ambulance because I couldn't control my body. I was very conscious that it was happening, and I was terrified. They applied me with 10 milligrams of Ativan, and the doctor said to me in emergency, "You're having a psychotic break, you need therapy," and walked away. Like, he was disgusted with me. And it was a very humbling, here we go. I'm going inwards again. Again, I'm proven that something is wrong with me. Mm-hmm. So go home, and from that day on, it was seizure after seizure after seizure. And 4 neurologists. I was convinced I had a brain tumor. My family was convinced that there was something significantly wrong. And then finally, the 4th neurologist saw me have a seizure. And he said, I know exactly what's wrong.
So to that point, sorry to interrupt you, but to that point, no practitioner or doctor had ever seen or witnessed you go through a seizure.
No, and it was driving me crazy.
I'm sure.
The thought of video recording anything at that point was so foreign. We're not where we are today. It was foreign 12 years ago to record something like that.
Yeah.
And, but the doctors were like, oh, okay, well, here's an antispasmodic, here's an antidepressant, here's an anti-anxiety. And at one point, I was on 12 different types of medication. My pain level, due to the surgeries and not being able to fully recover and lack of sleep, my pain level was extremely high. And I was on they had given me, doctor-regulated, 200 milligrams of Oxycontin a day.
Oh, my gosh.
As well as the 12 different types of medication. So I was just a
walking
highly medicated
drugstore.
But the seizures didn't stop. The depressions didn't stop. I started having side effects to the pills, and they applied me with more pills to combat the side effects. It was disgusting. But they didn't know how to help me. This was very foreign. What is going on? And so when I finally saw this doctor, and he was, this neurologist was like, are you ready? If this is a mental illness, are you ready to accept that? I'm like, I'll accept any diagnosis you give me as long as I know what it is I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And he says, I believe this is trauma-induced. I believe that you've been through a significant amount of trauma in your life, and not just the birth of your son. And you need some intense therapy. I was like, okay, good. Well, finding a therapist to treat this was near impossible. I searched for months, finally found one. And doing that and psychology as well for about 1.5 years. Within 6 months of starting to see this doctor, I started to be able to come off all of the pills. And within a year, I was completely medication free.
Amazing. And, so this practitioner knew right away through witnessing what you went through, what was causing all this.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like, it's a trauma symptom. You just have extreme PTSD. Like it was to the extreme. It was one trauma compounded on another. And we look at my life. I've been sexually abused and raped from the time I was 1.5 years until the last abuse, so I was age 24. And the major abuse was done at the hand of my grandfather almost every weekend or every other weekend of my life until I was 8 years old. All of that I had dissociative amnesia for. I remembered a few of the abuses and attacks throughout my teenage years, but that was very, very traumatic. I was on my own at the age of 18 years old and living off of Cheerios and peanut butter and scamming bus drivers to get to my hostessing job just to survive. And the story that I kept telling myself was there was something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't. It was just, I had been through a lot, and I had been hurt over and over and over again at the hands of other people. And so when I had my own child, I was in full on protective mode. I didn't want anybody touching him.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that either. Like, I didn't even want my in-laws to be around him. I'm like, why am I so protective? But it was my subconscious fear coming out that somebody would hurt my child because I did. So once all of that was kind of uncovered, and then I was taught, I remember my therapist said to me, everything starts and ends with you. And it took me a year to understand that concept, that what happened to me as a child was not happening to me as an adult.
Yeah.
And that I can choose how to live. And once we started to move through all of that, I started to get healthy, and the seizures stopped. And
completely stopped.
And in that time when I was going through those seizures and on all of that medication, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, with obsessive compulsive disorder, with interstitial cystitis, which is a very severe bladder disease. I was diagnosed with depression, generalized anxiety disorder, and the list of diagnoses was massive. The moment I got through my therapy and got off of all of the pills, I don't have fibromyalgia. I don't have depression. I don't have anxiety. I don't have interstitial cystitis.
Jeez.
Every single diagnosis that the doctor said, you'll have this for the rest of your life. It's just about managing it. All went away as soon as I understood how to work with my own brain and body.
Incredible.
So when people are like, I have this and this is what it is for the rest of my life, I call horseshit.
Yeah.
It is a mindset, absolutely. And it's not the be all and end all, but I don't suffer from seizures or depression or anxiety. And that was every day of my life from when I was a young child. And it has not been a part of my life in 10 years.
That is absolutely incredible. Heartbreaking on one hand, but incredibly miraculous, the recovery that you've been through, and just, wow, the power of the mind is just incredible. And the amount of people that don't have a clue what you can do with your mind.
Exactly.
Wow.
So coming out of that, I was just so hungry. Like, why did my body react that way? Why is this happening to me? I need to understand why I don't remember certain things and why I do.
Yeah.
And why my body will respond. And like, I'd almost cringe around people, but then other people I wanted to be like shoulder to shoulder with. And I didn't understand that once I started to feel, I started to feel everything. And that's when I realized how deeply sensitive I've been my entire life, in the most beautiful way. But most often we are taught that our sensitivity is a weakness. And I needed to understand that my sensitivity was my superpower, and it was my strength, and that was my courage. And so I needed to work with everything that I was, instead of feeling that I was less than because of everything that I was. And that's the game changer right there.
Amazing. I mean, I think with the whole sensitivity thing, that's twofold for men. When we're raised up as boys, it's like, you don't show your sensitive side. You're a man. You don't cry. You don't do this. You don't do that. You're a man. You're strong. You're the man of the house. You're this, you're that. And I think it's horrible to instill those behaviors and thought processes into boys. I mean,
it's cultural conditioning. I mean, it's conditioning, sexual conditioning as well. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You were conditioned to be less than.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to be as great as you are. So if you're a man, suck it up. Don't be such a girl.
Yeah.
And then with a girl, you're too emotional or you're too bitchy. Right? There's always something that's wrong with you, instead of us using everything that we are to empower ourselves with it. Like, as a man who's sensitive and kind and generous and taps into that femininity, I think is the most masculine, sexy thing that you could possibly find in a person.
Right. Interesting. The way we're, as you said, conditioned. I mean, I don't know. So you ended up eventually getting connected with a mentor who ended up basically helping you and changing your life's path and direction. Can you tell us about that whole experience of meeting your mentor and how she helped you?
Oh, Tina Cleland, yes, my mentor. I love her. I love her. I think of her as a friend, a mentor, a mother, an auntie of my children. She is everything. I met her. I started seeing energy. When I started coming off all of the medication, I started thinking I was going insane again because I was seeing energy. I am very intuitive, empathic, and I have that second sight. And I thought I was going crazy again. And I ended up meeting this woman. I walked into her store. I think it was called Under the Moon in Port Coquitlam. It was just a gem store and psychics and tarots and all that kind of stuff. And it always fascinated me since I was a little girl. And I walked in there and there's this woman standing behind the counter with this bright purple hair. And I looked at her and it was like I had come home. All I wanted to do was run towards her and crawl onto her lap and have her hold me. It was unlike any feeling I've had towards a person in my entire life. It was visceral. And I looked at her and I remember she looked at me and she goes, I see you. And I was like, oh my God, you are everything. I ended up starting to take her classes to understand energy in a different way. So in the spiritual way, but also how it works with your body, why your body responds. And I was very viscerally connected to my body. My body tells me before I even consciously know some things. And that was evident through the seizures. But she took me under her wing and she started to mentor me for years. And she is an energy life coach, but she's so educated and in how to allow you to see yourself in the best possible light. And coming from trauma without having many people that I felt I could call home. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's not many people I felt like I could call home that felt completely safe, where there was absolutely no judgment coming at me. And I'd never experienced a friendship or even the dynamic I had with my husband. There was judgment everywhere, all of the time, which made me doubt myself. And she sat there and didn't have 1 ounce of judgment towards me. She just allowed me to work through my stuff and still loved me and helped support me in the most kind, generous, authentic way. And I realized within months of working with her that I wanted to be her, that I wanted to see people the way that she saw people, because she did. She saw it. She's the most kind woman I've ever met in my life. And she sees the inside without all of the noise. And so she very quickly became auntie to my children.
Wow.
And believe it or not, my second son was born and started having seizures within 2 months.
Oh my gosh.
That full circle, having an epileptic child. But, she worked with them every day. She's a very talented healer and a medium and a teacher and a mentor. And so, yeah, she's quite incredible. But she taught me that I can see myself without all of the structure, without all of the limitations that I've been told.
Just be you,
just
authentic you.
And having somebody for the very first time see me allowed me to see myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Amazing.
very rare to find that within people.
Absolutely. How have these experiences helped shape the Lea you are today, do you think?
Oh gosh, when I'm working with clients, I can hear her voice in my head. It's also helped me be a better parent. I mean, being emotionally aware. I have two boys who are incredibly sensitive children, and I help them understand that is their strength, and that's what's going to change the world, and not limiting them. And it's funny, sometimes my mom will come over, and my mom doesn't like a lot of noise, and she likes structure, and that's what helps her feel safe. And my boys will be like running around the house and screaming and laughing, and she'll shush them. And she doesn't do that anymore, because I looked at her and I was like, we are never, ever to shush children who are laughing and enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
And if it's too loud for you, then I would suggest you move into another room, right? Like, I want them to express. And when my kids scream and have temper tantrums, all right, go scream. Have fun. Yeah. I'll be over here when you're done screaming and you get all of that energy out of you. Mm-hmm. It's how you direct it. So, and what you do with it. And if you need to scream and rage, then do it in a healthy way where it's productive. Don't destroy things or hurt people. Yeah. And watch the words that come out of your mouth. You can scream without being mean. And Absolutely. So I believe that is how it's shaped me. It's made me a better parent. It allowed me to leave my marriage. It was understanding that we both deserved much better than what we gave each other.
Right.
And as soon as I realized that I was not broken and there wasn't anything wrong with me, I started to tap into the empowerment of that and walked away from a significant amount of people in my life that I don't blame them for the hurt or pain that was caused. I blame myself for perpetuating my own self-abuse through insisting that they were my friends. If that makes sense?
Yeah, sometimes sometimes you have to walk away from relationships, no matter what the relationship is. If it's toxic, if you're not getting any value out of that relationship, then there's no point in having it.
Well, what value did I bring to them if I was constantly feeling crappy about myself, right?
True.
And so everything starts and ends with me. That is one of my biggest lessons in life that I try to instill with all of my clients, is that everything starts and ends with you. So the moment you can be accountable for your own emotional response and reaction, then you can step away in the most humbled way possible with love and not blame everybody, because every single person has a story. Yeah. Every single person responds the way they've only been taught. But the moment you know that you don't know any better, you can start behaving better.
Yeah, very true. So can you describe how it felt for you to finally get to that point where you figured out that it wasn't you, that what was wrong with you was this, and start working on the path to heal yourself? How did that feel for you?
I think it's a work in progress. I don't think we ever really finally figure it out. I think that the healing journey and personal development, at least I hope, will be an everyday thing for the rest of my life until my last breath. Yeah. And that is a privilege that I have just for being human. And so I want to take advantage of that. I want to continuously grow. I often refer to myself as a personal development junkie because I just existed for so many years, more than half of my life, and I just existed, and I was complacent, and I was angry and sad and victimized myself all of the time. And so every day, if I have the opportunity to learn something new that I didn't otherwise know, or to check myself in a way that I wouldn't normally do before, or to change a behavior, or to make a different choice, or to change my mind, I want to learn why I want to do that and why I didn't do it. And so I don't feel like there's been anything that's ever been finally figured out. Trauma, going through so much trauma and having that, those triggers, I still come up against it. Yeah. But it's what I do with it that allows me to move through it quicker. I can't stop the triggers from happening, right, but I can witness it and move through it in a way where I'm a lot kinder to myself and a lot loving. And I'm very vocal about shutting people down when they tell me I'm being too emotional or I'm being too this. I'm like, nope, I'm allowed to feel. I'm actually allowed to be super rational as long as I check myself after, which I do always. If somebody calls my behavior into question, I go, okay, I'll take that under advisement, and I do. Like, that is one thing that I promised myself. All right, let's see this. Is this coming from me? Is this coming from them? Are they projecting? Am I projecting? What's the truth in the middle? And how can I make myself how can I help myself be better in this moment? Yeah. Without being egoic about it. Because awesome. I think that's when the moment I think I know everything, I know nothing, and I need to start over.
So why did you choose the field of holistic healing and coaching? Is it specifically women that you focus your business on? And if so, why?
I don't feel that I chose it. I feel like the field kind of chose me. I've never been career-oriented my whole life. I was just existing and trying to make a living, not educated other than high school, worked clerical within hospital environments. And I just was never really, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just be a stay-at-home mom for the rest of my life, because there was nothing that excited me, not anything that I felt pulled towards, until I started to research my own self, until I started to look into the science of the mind-body connection and the science behind why we do what we do. And And then this field just kind of chose me on its own. I realized that I'm good at what I do in regards to being able to read energy and see inside the body and being able to read the emotions of other people. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as that became apparent to me, it was all I could do to not do it. I wanted to explore myself and anybody who came along with their permission. I'm very, very clear about that, with especially with the ability to read people. I don't read people unless I have permission and you're in my office, because I feel like it's an invasion of privacy. Those TV shows where mediums go out and start reading people on the street, I think it's just awful.
Exploitation.
It is. Well, it's an invasion of privacy. I'm sure those TV shows, all of that is pre-set up or whatever.
Yes.
But I've had quite a few people come up to me and start reading me, and I've literally had to put up some hackles and be like, I didn't give you permission to look inside of me or to read me. That's an invasion of my privacy. And no, I don't want any of your information. Thank you very much.
Wow.
And so unless I'm seeking out you, then you should not be telling me anything, because that's like coming into my bedroom and rifling through my drawers. That's exactly what it is as far as I'm concerned. So when I started to move into this field, and I loved the way that the body responded, that was the biggest thing. And I feel like it chose me.
Okay.
Not the other way around.
Right.
Women, it's not specifically women. I do have quite a few male clients as well as children, with parents always with me and stuff. But it's the medical mediumship that really gets the children, because I'm able to direct them on where they need to go with their medical inquiries.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor, get this checked, go to a naturopathic doctor, or go get acupuncture, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Anytime you're seeing me for anything, whether it's trauma, if you're seeing me for trauma, then I actually suggest you're seeing a certified practitioner at the same time, a counselor or therapist, because
Mm-hmm.
I am not a qualified counselor or therapist.
Right.
I think it's really important to have that, and oftentimes we're on the same page, and I've worked quite closely with my clients, other practitioners. And then also, if I'm giving you medical advice, it's a suggestion, and I'm always asking you, go prove me wrong. Please go take these tests. Don't take my word for it. Don't ever take my word for anything. And go get the test and go seek out validation that this is the right thing to do for you, because it's important that we know, and that we have to know that we need to be advocates for our own selves. And so through this type of work, whether you're male or female or a child or a teenager, I do a lot of workshops with teenagers in the school systems. Becoming an advocate for your whole self is part of this process, is the personal development, is the ability to understand how you feel and how to move forward. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is it about what you do that excites and inspires you?
Oh, seeing transformation and seeing people be proud of themselves and being able to celebrate the small wins, because the small wins always lead to the big wins. Somebody sticking up for themselves, or establishing a boundary with a family member that they've never been able to do, or to be able to understand why they reacted a certain way and be able to be like, I changed this behavior and now it's become consistent where I no longer do this. That's everything. That's proof that it works, right? Mm-hmm. As soon as we learn how to love ourselves with kindness, it starts to create a ripple effect through everything in your life. So, it's a double-edged sword in some respects, because the moment you start to change one thing about you, you can't stop the cycle from moving through everything, right?
Right.
I started to work on myself, and I left my family and my husband, and now I'm raising my kids, and started a new business, and walked away from friendships I'd had for the rest of my whole life. Mm-hmm. And, really put up strict boundaries with family members, and started to all of a sudden welcome all of these new things into my life that I never thought were possible. So my life now looks absolutely nothing like I thought it was going to look 10 years ago.
Amazing.
Or even 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's really quite beautiful when you start to move into that. And that's what excites and inspires me. It's seeing my clients light up and go, oh my God, now I understand this. Or,
having that aha moment.
Yes,
that
those
light bulb
aha
moment.
moments are huge.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
To know that you helped and you were part of that process for someone is, I would imagine that feels pretty damn incredible.
Well, it's kind of like a selfish act.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
I realized a long time ago that I love to be needed. And sometimes that's to my own detriment. So before I had this career, I needed my friends and family to need me. And therefore I would give and give and give of myself as much as I could, because I thought that if you needed me, then you loved me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was of no need, then I was not to be loved. I needed to be of service to you.
Right.
And I walk into this career and have built this career where I need to be needed. But it's in a way where I have boundaries with it, and where I'm not imposing that need on my friends and family. And it's in a healthy, structured way where I can still be needed and feed that side of myself in the most beautiful way, where it's not self-destructive anymore. So it is selfish for me because it feeds me, everything about me to be of service to other people. But at the same time, it has nothing to do with me because it's all about them changing their lives. It doesn't affect my life. Yeah.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. How long have you been a holistic healer and coach now?
Professionally, we're going on 5 years.
Amazing.
But, I've been working on it since the seizure stopped, really. That's right.
Awesome.
So about 10 years now.
Okay.
But I've been in this field learning, gathering information like a squirrel.
Hoarding information,
I just give me a book, give me anything. I will suck it up like a Hoover vacuum. I just want to learn it.
Can you walk us through your process for when you get a client inquiry to work with you to actually coaching and helping a client? How long do you work with each client? Things like that?
So clients, I do so many different things that the focus of it is working with trauma, abuse, and addiction. So I very rarely have one-off clients unless they're coming to me for a reading because they heard about me through word of mouth that I do psychic readings. It's very rare that I get those coming in now because it's not the focus. So when I work with a client, when they come to me and they're like, this is my issue, we usually do a consultation, a free discovery call. And then I suggest either we do 1 or 2 sessions to start off and see how they feel and if we work well together. And then we go into the 8-week program. And the 8-week program is where I take clients, we work weekly together. So we're getting a 1-hour session, sometimes an hour and a half, once a week. That includes the talk therapy, the coaching, as well as the energetic healing. You get homework, you get access to my recorded guided meditations, access to my Audible account, which has all of my self-help books on there. And you have access into my Facebook membership group where there is so many other different resources. And so I feel like doing this 8-week program with clients gets them from point A to B, and then they can take it off on their own, or many of my 8-week program clients end up still seeing me on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Check in and help themselves out. But if you're only seeing me once in a while, I usually limit it to at least a minimum or a maximum of once a month.
Okay.
Because I don't want people to be dependent. The point of doing this type of work is to get you on the right path, and then you take off on your own. Be that person for the rest of your life. I do have clients I've been working with for 5 years that come every quarterly, about every 3 or 4 months, and we check in with them and we go through what's been going on. And then sometimes it'll be 6 months to a year down the road that be like, hey, I need another session. I need to just kind of back myself back into where alignment is. And so there's a few different ways that we can work together. The Facebook membership group really is, it's $30, $29 a month. And that was made to be more accessible. So you have access to me on an everyday basis there. And we have weekly challenges, yoga. There's something live happening every single week. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can work with me. If you commit, you got me. You got me. A lot of my clients are still with me for the many years that we've worked together, just because we get very vulnerable together. And I'm an open book, so I like to help them feel like they're part of my family as well. It's not like you're going into a counselor's office where you can't ask your therapist any questions. If you want to ask me a personal question, I'm going to tell you, because I want you to feel like you're coming home to something, that I'm a safe space. And that if I'm holding myself back, then how can you trust me?
Yeah.
If you don't know that I know what addiction means, or what abuse means, or what trauma means, or what mindset means, or what boundary means. I mean, I've been through quite a significant array of experiences, negative and positive. So I want to be able to connect with people in that way as well, and help them know that I get them. There's nothing worse than going to see somebody that you don't think understands you. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
There's two things I feel that has really helped me. I'm very, very good at holding space for people. I can really sit and hear them without putting my 2 cents in or taking away from their pain. That, when somebody comes and complains or vents to you, instead of wanting to fix them right away or wanting to tell them your story, you just sit there and go, and you commiserate with them. Yeah, that totally sucks. Yeah. And that's terrible. And I hear you're really sad. And I allow people to feel heard. And that's been something that has been with me since I was a kid. I've always been that person that everybody goes to for advice. And now so more than ever, but it's because I provide that safe space where you are not judged. There's nothing that you could tell me as a friend, a family member, or a client that would make me think less of you as a human being, because you're a human being and I love the fact that you're human. And we all make mistakes.
Yep, so we do.
I carry that through with everything, that I don't judge in any way, shape, or form, because I know what that feels like. So I want to hold space for you to move away from the judgment to be able to see it. What was the question? I totally forgot. The unique skill set. Yeah. The other superpower I have is the medical mediumship. And this is probably the most fun aspect of what I do and why I believe it's led me to where I am. I see inside the body. It's like lifting the hood of a vehicle.
Okay.
Deficiencies and diseases, whether it's physical or emotional, whatever your body tells me, I tell you. I don't filter it. I don't try to interpret it. I just tell you what's going on, and can move energy through where you feel a little bit lighter and better, whether that's distance or you're sitting on my table in my office with my hands over top. It's something that it just has always naturally come to me since I started doing all of this. Okay. And so the medical mediumship is really fun, because you could ask me anything about yourself and I'll be able to tell you what it is.
That's awesome.
And then I get you to go out and see a doctor to prove that it's wrong or right or whatever.
If you could go back, would you change anything about your journey or how you did things?
Not a damn thing.
Okay.
Not a thing. And I say that because I believe that everything that I've gone through, every bad decision I've made, every mistake I've put onto myself, every abuse led me to where I am right now.
Mm-hmm. And it's all part of who you are, shaping your character.
Exactly. And I don't want to change any of that, because the story doesn't define who I am.
Yeah.
But it led into the character of who I am, and I'm proud of that. And so
awesome. You own
I
it.
didn't change anything. I do.
Beautiful.
I own my mistakes too, because I've made some doozies.
Oh, we all do. All. Yes, exactly.
Right?
To date, what would you say is your biggest high or your greatest win?
Personally, I think my biggest win was leaving my marriage. And that seems a little counterproductive when I say that, but it was the single most scariest decision I ever made in my life. And it led me, both of us, my ex-husband as well, into some spectacular moments of understanding and love away from each other. And it helped my children as well. The little wins within I don't think there is I couldn't list one big thing. Mm-hmm. The little wins that make it, right. Doing this interview is a little win for me. The fact that you reached out, doing my past interviews are little wins.
Awesome.
Getting a new client is a little win, and that stuff feeds me. And those all lead into, being able to financially provide for my children in a way that works for us.
Yeah.
And so that's what I feel like. There's not one big thing.
Okay. What would you say is the best advice you've ever received?
That came from my mentor, and that is somebody else's opinion of you is none of your business.
I love that. That's awesome.
She said that to me once because I was a people pleaser, and it drove me crazy when people don't like me. It drives a lot of people crazy. And then she said, yeah, their opinion of you is none of your damn business. So what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, it's you want your opinion of them being showcased to the world? I'm like, no. She goes, okay, then. So,
there you go.
There you go. And that's actually helped me when I start to feel insecure. I mean, I have moments of insecurity and
we all
doubt,
do.
And I have to remind myself, nope, my opinion of myself is the only one that matters.
That's right.
In all of time.
Yeah. What's something people seem to misunderstand about you?
That I have it all figured out. I get that a lot, even when, with a lot of friendships, new friendships, because of what I do, or dating people because of what I do. I'm not allowed to have expressive, off-the-cuff moments where I can't mess up, or I need to know what I'm doing all of the time. And I'm still human. I'm a human being, and I'm emotional, and I make mistakes. But I feel sometimes I get held to a bit of a higher standard within my personal life because of what I do. And that I find is very judgmental and frustrating.
Yeah.
There's little forgiveness for somebody that people look up to or, aspire to be and living alongside of. So when I mess up, I'm the first to admit it or make a mistake, but I feel that I get misunderstood a lot that way. Then I need to have, because I teach people how to be the best versions of themselves, I'm not allowed to falter every once in a while.
Which is completely false.
Yeah, I mean, we're human. And so a lot of the times when people are like, you're being really emotional, I'm like, yep.
Sure am.
And I'm wearing it with everything that it is right now. And I'm sure I'll come back and apologize when I'm ready. But right now I'm feeling really freaking angry, and I'm going to be okay with that. Yeah,
that's right. Just owning it.
Exactly.
What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
I'm my best self. I have to take it to my children. I mean, my kids are 12 and 5. And when they are with me and they're snuggled in my bed with me, I feel like I am my best self. When I have them close and I see them laughing, and when we're having that good quality time and reading a book or snuggled up watching a movie or something like that, it's knowing that they feel safe enough to just be completely free with me. And I don't feel like I ever had that growing up. And my parents are excellent people, but there was a lot of stuff that happened and I didn't feel safe the majority of my life. So that's what makes me feel inspired, is when I'm around people that help me feel emotionally safe. I feel like I could conquer the world and I could do anything. It's that emotional safety is really, really important for me.
Awesome. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life, and what was your life like before learning it, and what was your life like after learning it?
It goes back to that one phrase that everything starts and ends with me.
Okay.
That is the most important thing that I've learned ever. It is the most important lesson that has taken me through everything. It helps me with my parenting and check myself when I'm being irritable. It helps me, within my relationships, knowing that if I'm victimizing myself, I need to check myself. If I'm going, you made me feel this way. Oh, okay. No, everything starts with me. Why am I allowing this reaction to come in? And having that realization and it really sink in and integrate into every fiber of my being, that's when my life started to change.
Right.
That's when everything started to change. That's when self-love started to actually take shape.
Self-love is the key to everything.
Yeah, but it's so misunderstood too.
Yes, very true. Very true. Who have been the 3 most influential people in your life, would you say?
So I think you might be surprised with this answer. Because I feel like the most influential people in my life have been my abusers.
Really?
Because they led me to be where I am right now.
Right.
If I wasn't abused, where would I be? I don't know. And I really like where I am right now. Am I forgiving of what happened to me? No. Am I accepting? Yes. But it would be the hard lessons that I've learned, and the trauma that I've gone through has been, instead of people, it's been situations.
Mm-hmm.
My ex-husband is one of the most influential people in my life because, he was the first safe person in my life, or what I thought was safe at that time.
Yeah.
And he gave me my 2 children, and now we co-parent like rock stars. I don't particularly, like him every single day, but he's a major part of my life in an influential way because he's the one who triggers me the most and allows me the opportunity to check myself the most.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's always been the hard lessons that influence me, not the good ones. Other than my mentor, who has led me down the most amazing path. It would be the hard ones. It would be the hurtful stuff.
Okay.
Then I had an opportunity to make a different choice.
Yeah. How do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
Happiness.
I love that answer. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
Self-love.
What would you say is one of your favorite quotes?
Brene Brown. She's one of my favorite people that I would love to meet one day. Mm-hmm. But this quote: vulnerability sounds like truth and feels like courage. Truth and courage aren't always comfortable, but they're never weakness. Mm-hmm. And
very wise.
Being a researcher of vulnerability mm-hmm. and a teacher of vulnerability and courage, mm-hmm. She speaks in such a profound way that gets you to be soft with yourself. That when you can find that softness, that's where the empowerment and success comes from. It's the softness, not being so hard on yourself. It's forgiving yourself for all the little things and understanding that when you can be sensitive and when you can be vulnerable, that is when you are your strongest and most courageous.
I love it. How would you like to be remembered, Lea?
As kind and loving.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
How would you?
Sassy.
Sassy's always good. Shake things up a little bit. How would you describe yourself in one word?
Heart-led.
Okay.
Heart-led, yeah. I lead everything that I do. I try to lead with my heart. Mm-hmm. Everything. Whether I'm swearing like a sailor and laying down some F-bombs or having a dance off in my kitchen or screaming my head off because I'm angry, it's because I love and feel so deeply that everything, instead of being led through my mind, is being led through my heart, and that's where I'm safest.
Okay. What makes you smile?
My baby's laughing.
Mm-hmm. Something so simple but sounds so amazing. It puts a smile on your face, right?
Yeah, or my dog running full speed across a field with his tongue hanging outside of his mouth.
Dogs are amazing creatures. I love them.
Yeah.
Aside from necessities, what's one thing you could absolutely not go without?
Coffee and probably my hair straightener.
All right.
Yeah.
If you were guaranteed the correct answer to one question in life, what would you ask?
Well, this is such a good question. I had to, probably what is on the other side of the black holes in space? That's what I want to know. Are we being sucked into a different dimension? Is there all of past lives over there or other parallel universes? Do we have aliens on the other side? Is it like the toilet game where you go down and you kind of have an idea of where it goes, but you really don't understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's on the other side of a black hole? That's what I'd like to know.
All right. To what extent do you think that we shape our own destiny, and how much is left up to fate?
Oh, I think destiny and fate are two sides of the same coin. If you make the right decisions for yourself, fate steps in and gives you everything that you want.
Okay.
Right?
I like that answer.
I think I do have this belief that we have these blueprints that we set up for ourselves before we come here, which is why we get deja vu and feelings of familiarity and moments of, oh, yes, or why we are connected to one person or another, why we, you look across the room, you're like, I want to know that person.
Yeah.
I feel like all of that is fate. But if we didn't make the right choice to get there, destiny would kind of take us somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So two sides of the same coin. We create it, but we also, it leads us if we make the right decisions.
Yeah. If you had 24 hours left on Earth, what would you do with that 24 hours?
I would probably call or video time every single person that I've ever known and tell them how much they affected me in the most beautiful way. I'd want to leave this earth sharing love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If you were to have a dinner party and had to invite one musician, one politician, a famous couple, and a family member, who would you invite?
Musician would either have to be Dolly Parton or Taylor Swift, because they're both geniuses in their own right and so creatively talented. Plus Dolly Parton, I want to know if that's her real hair. And she just seems like a very wise, anyways, politician. Would the head of CSIS be a politician? I don't know. I'd like to talk to the top spy guy of the country.
Sure, we can allow that. Yeah.
Right? I want to know all of the secrets. Famous couple probably would be Oprah and Stedman. I am a huge Oprah Winfrey fan just because I love her quest for understanding.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the most beautiful thing that she has showcased in the world, is her quest to understand.
Okay.
And to be inclusive in that understanding of what life means. Famous couple. Yeah, it would either be her or Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, because, well, Mila Kunis seems like my kind of girl, and Ashton Kutcher is doing so much good with uncovering the pedophilia rings, and doing so much work to help children around the world that it would just be an honor to sit in his presence and to thank him. Okay. And a family member would have to be my sister, who just had a baby yesterday.
Oh, awesome. Congratulations, Auntie.
Thank you. Very exciting.
That's a boy or girl?
She had her second boy, so we have all boys in the family. So
Awesome.
after this interview, I get to finally go meet him. So
excellent. If you could sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with anyone in the world, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
That would be the Dalai Lama.
Dalai Lama?
Yeah, and because I want to know what his childhood was like from his own words, and what he feels. I want to know the intimate questions, but also because he teaches what I strive for, that peace of mind is within us, and he teaches you your capability of reaching that peace of mind with different choices and understanding who you are. It's essentially everything that I base my practice off of. And that is essentially what self-love is that peace of mind and that happiness, without all of the noise. So it would be really amazing to sit and just shoot the shit with the Dalai Lama.
Very cool. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Don't shy away from failing. That it's okay to fail. There's nothing wrong with you.
Okay. And lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what do you think that last 30 seconds would sound like?
To always put love first, loving yourself and loving even in the face of anger and hate. That love and kindness can absolutely not only change you internally, but can change the world externally. And it starts with you working on that love of self to create a revolution that could impact the entire world. And if everybody responded to hate and anger with kindness and understanding and love, the hate would start to temper. and the hate would start to calm down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're all in need of that. Every single person in the entire world just strives to be loved and to have that acceptance. And so I would just want people to be more aware of that, and that to love, to really be kind and to be heart-led. You could do unbelievable things in this world.
Amazing. I love that. Lea, thank you so much for taking the time to be part of my podcast and share these intimate details of your experiences in your life and share part of your journey to where you are today. And it's been an absolute honor and pleasure chatting with you. And I appreciate you agreeing to be part of this movement that I'm trying to create. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm really inspired by what you're doing and giving all of these women a voice, and especially coming from a man. It's the most beautiful thing that you can do. And I think you're going to have a huge impact on the world. So thank you very much for reaching out to me and doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate those kind words. It's amazing to be able to sit and listen to so many different stories and journeys. It's incredibly inspiring. So, I mean, it's cyclical, right? Your stories, the stories of my guests inspire me, and then us putting this content out there together inspires other women. So it's amazing. I love that we've got this platform and we're able to share stories and help other women. So I appreciate you truly being part of this movement that I'm trying to create.
Well, thank you so much. I'm honored.
Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest has been Lea Morrison. She is a trauma-informed coach and healer based in Vancouver. Thank you again, Lea. Have an amazing afternoon, and I wish you a great week.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.